Hey y'all, you're welcome back. So in this video I'll be showing you how to make your own Kojic turmeric and retinol bar soap that actually works. This is going to be a very simple recipe. It's a beginner friendly recipe as requested from one of my subscribers. So I'll be using a clear melt and pour soap base for this recipe, okay, so that everyone can be able to make this soap. So we start by cutting it into pieces like so. So after cutting it, you add it in a heat safe container so that we can melt it, okay. So I will be using double boiler method to melt this soap, but you can use microwave to melt yours, but make sure you don't overheat it, okay. So while the soap is melting, we start by preparing the ingredients that we'll be using in this recipe. So here I have a 0.5% retinol powder, okay. You know retinol powder always comes caking. So this is the way I always prepare my retinol powder anytime I want to use it in any formulation. When you do it this way, it helps it melt easily, okay. Do not just grab it and add into oil to melt. You will stay there forever because retinol doesn't melt quickly like so. But when you process it this way, it helps it melt faster. So the next ingredient will be turmeric powder. I am using 1% turmeric powder for this recipe, okay. So the next one will be Kojic powder. I am using 1% Kojic acid powder for this recipe, okay. Then the next ingredient should be our gold mica. That's the gold mica there. This is optional. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, okay. And if you don't have it, you can just skip it. I just love to add some sparkle in my Kojic turmeric and retinol bar soap. Yeah, so we'll be adding 0.5% of gold mica powder, and I will be using vegetable glycerin to dissolve the mica and the Kojic powder, okay. So make sure you use vegetables glycerin to melt yours. I am using 2% vegetable glycerin here, okay. So we're going to stir it until it comes out very smooth. So the next ingredient will be rice bran oil. I am using 1% rice bran oil in this recipe, okay. If you don't have rice bran oil, you can use castor oil, okay, as a substitute. Then the next oil will be sea buckthorn oil, okay. So here I have 0.5% sea buckthorn oil and 0.5% carotene oil, okay. Then this next ingredient will be hyaluronic acid solution. So that's 1% hyaluronic acid solution. Then the next ingredient will be a fragrance oil. I am using Island Nectar. You can use any type of fragrance oil you have. You can even use essential oil if you don't have fragrance oil, okay. So next we are going to melt the retinol in the oils, all right. So I just added the retinol powder into the oil I mentioned earlier. So the oils I'm using here: rice bran oil, sea buckthorn oil, and beta carotene oil. I mixed them together, and then I added the retinol powder. So we're going to stir it until it dissolves. As you can see, it dissolves. Did you see that? Because of the process it went through before dissolving it in the oil. So next we'll be adding the turmeric powder into the retinol, into the oil also, and we are going to be dissolving the turmeric. Make sure you dissolve your turmeric first before adding it. I see a lot of people just scoop turmeric and add it into their melt and pour soap, and the thing just have fish eye there. Please dissolve it in oil before adding it into your soap, so that it doesn't create fish eye in that soap or leave some kind of seeds or something when you after making the soap. Okay, if you want your soap to come out clean, make sure you melt it. Okay, back to our soap. You can see our soap base has have melted beautifully. As you can see, it has melted beautifully and nicely. I used double boiler to melt it. So now I'll be adding the ingredients. I am starting with the melted retinol and the turmeric powder we melted in the oil. So we start by adding it gradually. As you add, you mix. Okay, when adding it, make sure you are stirring. As you are adding, you keep stirring so that it doesn't clog or create any kind of bump inside there. Okay, so try and get out everything and add it in there. I'll be leaving the measurements of all the ingredients I use in this recipe. Okay, if I forget to list them, please comment in the comment section and ask for it. So next, I'll be adding the Kojic Acid and the gold mica we melted with glycerin. So this is vegetable glycerin, the gold mica, and Kojic powder. You add gradually as you stir, and make sure you get everything out also. So after adding, we mix it properly. So I forgot to film it. I added the the fragrance oil I am using into the oil face also. I added everything there so that they can be mixed together. So after mixing the ingredients, we start pouring in our soap mode. You can use any type of soap mode you have. You must not use exactly this one. Okay, so when pouring your soap, as you pour, make sure you are stirring it so that no ingredient is settled in the bottom. Okay, you stir it a little bit and you pour it fast and gentle. Fast and gentle, you understand? So to get the best benefit from your soap, use the ingredients accurately. Use the correct measurements. Okay, this soap can be used on your face and it can also be used on the body. Okay, so after that, I just sprayed some alcohol to get rid of the bubbles, and I left it to mold for 24 hours. Yes, so the next day, this is the result of our soap. You see those sparkles I say I love seeing? See those good sparkles? I love seeing this in my soap. It makes it appear so beautiful. Look at those. So that is it. You just made yourself a perfect and authentic Kojic turmeric and retinol bar soap. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.